In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Welcome to The Dark Side of Songwriting. My name is Nayim Edwards. I am your host, and today, due to unfortunate circumstances, anything that Quavo drops, anything that Quavo says, and anything that Quavo does, we're going to pay attention to it because we want to see if he's gonna give any revealing information. We want to see how he's feeling. We want to know what's on his mind. We want to know, is he going to actually say anything pertaining to what happened that night he was there when he got his nephew killed. Yes, he got his nephew killed, running his fucking mouth. But he dropped a song called Greatness. And like I already said before, like I already knew, this nigga, the nigga who ran his mouth and got his nephew clapped, the nigga who couldn't control himself in the elevator with Saweetie, the nigga I seen on that video smacking his fucking lips, like, I've never seen a nigga eat like that. Like, it was like a fucking horse with a mouth full of apples. It was disgusting, right? I knew that he was going to come out and validate and vindicate Jay Prince and completely be against Offset. I already knew that. And his song validated everything I already thought, right? But let's go through this and then let's come and spin back around and talk about it. So he dropped Greatness. He got a few lines in here that says, came in, swept the game like a storm with the motherfucking flow. Nigga, Take did that. So don't ask about the group. He gone, we gone, young nigga, it can't come back. I'ma make sure mama straight, especially mama Take. I can't kick it with a fake, and I don't sleep with the snakes. I'd rather eat with the greats. I wanted peace, but I can't. I gotta get something straight. Hold on, wait. Gun sounds. When he said pew, pew, pew. Trying to move forward, but I don't got all the answers. But I know I can't look backwards. That's dangerous. Okay, it just turns into that Migos shit that niggas be doing. So, first, before we get started, you can tell this nigga does not have a ghostwriter because he sucks. Like, let's be for real. When's the last time Quavo really was like, when has Quavo ever really been like this really phenomenal writer? He's good for putting songs together, and but that's something else, right? This nigga, if he wasn't talking about Offset, right, it wouldn't be necessary to go from talking about Takeoff to saying, you know, we're talking about talking about Takeoff, talking about taking care of Takeoff's mama, and then saying you can't kick it with a fake, and you can't sleep with no snakes, and it can't be peace, and all that shit, right? It was never gonna be peace because they're fighting about a bitch. We gotta be for real. The Migos was never going to get back together because the Migos not only broke up because, like I already said, they broke up for contractual issues, but they broke up about a bitch. Now, is anybody going to ever come out and say who slept with who and who did what? Quavo's been hinting that old Saweetie did something with him and old Saweetie did something with Lil Baby. You know, it doesn't matter who did what with what. They was never going to get back together, no way. So this isn't, like I said, it's not surprising. The whole thing about this song and this verse is, if you think back, way back when you first got your first hardcore visuals in the mainstream media about who the Migos was, you remember that because I mean, I'll say I grew up on the Migos, but I feel like I grew up with the Migos more than anything because they were a heavy part of my college experience. And if you remember, it was actually probably high school and college. I don't remember, but it was around that time. I was young as hell. You remember that Offset was in jail for when they really like blew up. So a lot of people didn't even know that Offset was Amigo. It was always like, we all knew that Takeoff carried the Migos from the very beginning. I don't know how many people remember this point in history, but from the very beginning, nobody ever thought that Quavo was the best Migo. That was never the sentiment. That was never the conversation when they came out. Takeoff carried that group, and when Offset came out, oh, Offset can rap too, but Offset was real goonish, and Offset was real like institutionalized in this kind of way. So he was like the one who was always fighting, the one who was always in trouble, the one who was falcon punching holes in the crowd, and niggas just anytime it was smoke, it was always Offset the person who was the person getting in trouble. And he had a couple of times where he went to jail. So a lot of the Migos' early success was carried by the fact that Takeoff was a rapping rapper, but he was still fly, and Quavo was there to help him. So niggas don't ever forget how they got their start. So niggas could have already had this feeling inside of them where it was just like, bro, when we was out here grinding while you was busy in jail, we was out here grinding while you was busy fucking this shit up. We not trying to be, and this is where the whole vindication part for the J Prince comes in, because while Offset was busy going to jail and Offset was busy being young and a street nigga and shit, two other people from the other side of the family, so you got this side of the family, which is Offset, and then this side of the family, which is Takeoff and Quavo, these niggas is trying to be rappers. They trying to be stars. They not trying to do, they wasn't trying to do the same shit that Offset was on. And do you remember this? Like this is clear as day, because Offset couldn't stop going to jail. I seen so many Offset mugshots. And if you think that Quavo forgot how when Offset was in jail and niggas was struggling with their career and trying to get their shit in the strip clubs and trying to get their shit in the clubs and performing at these bullshit spots and having to be niggas opening acts, you're fucking wrong, because you will never forget how you come up. You will never forget how you got there. And even though Quavo is at fault, he still has not forgotten that the Migos was really built on Takeoff. If like be for real, everybody who was there remembers that Takeoff carried these niggas. Point blank period. That's why when it gets down the line and niggas is just fucking international superstars, a nigga don't have no reason to come out and do no talking. A nigga don't have no, and I'm talking about Takeoff, a nigga don't have no reason to come out and be all in the interview and be seen and all this shit. Nigga, I carried this fucking group. This nigga couldn't rap and this nigga couldn't stay out of jail. I don't have no fucking reason to talk. I did everything I was supposed to do by putting this fucking group on the map and getting us rich and getting us fucking famous. I carried this motherfucker on my back when ain't nobody believe us and they hated our sound. We was changing this shit. I'm the one who did all of this shit. I carried this shit. And the fact that now the person that built this group is dead, Quavo has not forgot that. Because Quavo made it very clear with his actions, he never wanted to be on that shit that Offset was on. Whether people can say it was real, if it was not. There was one person in this trio that couldn't stop going to fucking jail at a point in time, and two people had to carry it. And then they break up and they end up back in a situation where it's just us carrying this group how we was already doing it from the beginning. So Quavo and Takeoff, before he died, could have felt like, bro, this is a full circle moment for me. This is a full circle moment for us. This is how we fucking started. We're going to be fine. This is how we started out. This nigga wasn't even with us most of the time because he couldn't stay out of jail. So for a nigga to put something in a verse and now speaking his truth and shit in a slick, sly way manner, do I agree with it? Yeah, why not? Why the fuck not? Because all Offset's going to do is still try to play this, I don't want to put my business in the street. Now, I don't agree with fighting over songs. I don't agree with diss music, and I can't say that. Like, I can't say that. But I don't agree with real relatives airing their dirty laundry out. But this absolutely validates what Jay Prince is saying. And you have to think about, now that I told you, do you consider Quavo a snake? Because he doesn't take his relative side, even though after everything I just told you about how Takeoff and Quavo carried this group anyway. They probably felt like this nigga was a tag along the whole fucking time. Or they could have really been, getting along until, again, a bitch broke the group up. Because everything changes when niggas start to rap, and everything changes when bitches get involved. Don't ever get it confused. If you was a regular street nigga, if you was a regular street bitch, nobody would give a fuck about what you felt. Nobody would give a fuck about what you had to say. People would actually probably like you more. People would actually respect you more. Now you a street nigga or a street bitch, and you rapping, or you like, and it is rap, because nobody feels this way about singers. But you a street bitch or a street nigga and you rap, the dynamic starts to change, because there's no limits and no bounds if you can actually get on with rap. The doors and the floodgates just fucking open. This is how people's mind works, even though you're better off probably going to work at the shipyard or Arby's or something, if we talking about actually, because of the amount of work you got to put in to actually be successful in music in general is completely insane, and damn near insane when you think about how you could be successful somewhere else. But that's why people do it, because if you can pop, you can pop. When you start rapping, this shit change. And then when a bitch or a nigga come through, it changes the dynamic. And when you mix rap with bitches and niggas and betrayal, you have an atom bomb on your hands. Point blank, period. Everything just changes. So it's this nigga Offset gonna have to come out and defend himself. But at the same time, it's just like you can ignore it and go about your business, because Takeoff's dead. Quavo is not really hailed and known as no great investor or no whatever the fuck. But Offset seems to be somebody who's just a little bit smarter with his money and stuff. But it's just like, the Migos was never gonna happen again anyway. Why the fuck do we want two, nigga? We want all three. If we can't be all three, all good things come to an end. Fuck it. Fuck it. And I mean, looking at this verse, pull this shit back up. What the fuck is all this? I don't know what happened to it. I think I lost the lyrics. Oh, here you go. But and then he goes in. Yeah. He's upset, but his music sucks anyway, so it's just like, people fell in love with all that singing and that voice shit, but this was inevitable. If we were being for real, it was inevitable. He was going to eventually say something, but I'm actually shocked, because if I was him, I probably would have just not said nothing. And this is just the dark side of it. Niggas, bitches, rapping. This is just a fucking recipe for disaster. Motherfucker who can't keep their mouth shut. Recipe for disaster. It was just as bound to happen. He needs a ghostwriter bad, because this nigga's garbage. But yeah, I'm about to get the fuck out of here. Anyway, we back to regular schedule program. If you made it this far, we are getting production upgrades this weekend. We're going to be testing some shit out. I'm working out a schedule to go live. Why is anybody up at this time in the morning? Oh, shit. I gotta go. I gotta go.